helped Nike reduce the amount of marketing they've done because they're bringing in people in a very meaningful way to talk about their experiences with running. And this has helped them decrease their marketing budget by creating these opportunities. So that's really actually my most favorite example. But in education, this is very interesting, and many of you may have heard of this given the field you're in, is that the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction is partnering with the governor's office, and we know what's going on in North Carolina, that's interesting, public libraries and parent organizations, in a new effort to encourage students to use their Lexile scores to boost their reading scores over the summer. So students in grades 3 through 8, as well as high school students, after they take their English assessment, they're going to receive a Lexile reading score with their end-of-year test results and my grades. And then I'm going to be able to go to Lexile.com, find a book, and I'm going to be able to match a book to my Lexile score. Now, what's interesting about this is not only does it make you completely aware of your own personal metrics about how well you're doing in reading, it then matches you. But it gives you an opportunity to become very self-reflective about what you're doing. Now, you also see this incredibly on the iPod applications, right? I was at a meeting, 2 women were using their Weight Watchers app to write down everything they ate that day, to do their points. And so in some ways, this is a good way to follow our kind of metrics, but it's also a good way to be more self-reflective, which sometimes we don't have in our learning opportunities. And so I think what North Carolina is doing with these Lexile scores are really amazing, because I can tell you, I don't know my Lexile score. And I didn't know it when I was a kid, when I was 8, and I didn't know it when I was 10 or 11. And so suddenly, students have this whole new measure of their reading because of the personal metrics and the data that's out there. Now, another thing that students are going to have to learn how to do is learn how to become more visually literate. Our children are going to need to be able to interact, create, and discover meaning on this quantified and data-prolific world. Herein lies another opportunity to expand and support multiple intelligence. In fact, we can learn in different ways and different paces, and when given the chance, we express our learning differently as well, and we might express that visually and less text. So what about those youth who are challenged to learn in a text-driven instructional style? Books, lectures, workbooks. There's a teacher, well, she was a teacher, her name is Lamore Simpson. She's the founder of the Design Education Consultancy. She's been working in Boston's High School Renewal Initiative with teachers of separate special education classrooms and second language learner classrooms and behaviorally challenged students. She works with teachers to plan lessons that turn students loose on their machines and in their mind's eye to design complicated, eye-catching visual arrays that reveal sophisticated reasoning and high levels of intellectual engagement. No writing. These organic maps that interweave concepts, skills, connections, and comparisons are then deconstructed in the classroom with the teacher and converted back into thoughtful, highly organized outlines and drafts for use in chapters, summaries, research papers, essays, and portfolio artifacts. This is a little bit of maker's economy here too, right? So students can be design thinkers. And there's also a little bit of the neurodiversity issue here, that kids have multiple intelligence and are able to the context of where they live and where they can engage. You can also do this with games as practice. Another example in which this is an emerging literacy are changing how we make sense of our world, how we make sense of information, and how we use this gaming platform for serious practice. So some of the questions here is, how can ubiquitous visible data impact teaching and learning? How does it push out that learning environment? And as it becomes easier to leave personal data trails, voluntarily and sometimes not so voluntarily, about performance, preferences, and interactions, how can we help students have an ongoing reflection? And how will schools teach collective sense-making skills? How will schools use visual literacy and visualization? So essentially, what we're saying about the future is personalized, it's customized, it's localized, it's collaborative, it's connective, it's modular, it's flexible, it's digital, and it's visual. Again, some of these things might not surprise you because the future's here, it's just unevenly distributed. As we close today, I'd like to acknowledge that each of us have this feeling that the future is a monolith and it can't be changed, but it can. We at KnowledgeWorks believe that people in this room and others that we give presentations to become the leaders in creating the learning of the future. We're excited about the possibilities of moving from a world of schooling to a world of learning, because that's our new mission actually as a foundation. And I invite you to go to our website, and one day you'll get your maps, where you can actually look at all of these in more detail and more examples and engage in discussions, review our blog, and all of that good stuff. But as Peter Drucker long ago said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what I challenge you guys to do. The future is not a monolith. You are the leaders. What will you do to create the future? And before we kind of move into these bigger questions, I just want to show you one more video to end this, and then I'll kind of give you the rhetorical questions, and Bernice is going to start us off.
We need your help.
We need your wisdom.
We need your experience.
We need your guidance. But we don't need your permission.
Help me get there. Take a chance.
Step out of the comfort zone.
Out of the box.
Out of the textbook. Out of the testing.
The testing.
The testing.
The testing.
Let me show you what I can really do.
Let me build it. Let me photograph it.
Let me sing it.
Let me record it.
Let me dance it. Let me act it out. Let me show you what I can really do.
Let me analyze it.
Let me sing it.
Let me program it.
Let me dance it.
Let me explain it.
Let me paint it. Let me show you what I can really do.
Let me play it.
Let me play it.
Let me play it. Prepare me for my future.
Tear down the walls. Take a chance. Help me get there.
Help me get there.
Help me get there.
The future asked me to come.
The future asked me to come.
The future asked me to come.
It said you can come too. I said you can come too.
I said you can come too.
You should come too. The future is happening.
Right this very minute.
Outside of school, we're there already.
We want you to be brave and come with us.
Come with us. Come with us.
So I invite you to think about how you are going to go with these students into the future. Thank you very much for your time. futureofed.org is one of them. You can go directly to the map, or it's kwfdn.org. Yep.
I've been live Twittering your presentation.
Oh, thank you. I'll make sure that I become your follower.
Hashtag AEP.
Okay.
What I'm curious about is there's a lot of good information